I went from having $500 to making 6 figures in a year. Your manifestation is way closer than you think, and I am going to prove it to you right now. Hey there, welcome back to my channel. I am TEDRA Chanel, and as I just said, we are going to talk about this one very special thing that when it kicks in, that's how you will know that your manifestation is literally knocking at your door. And that one thing is detachment. Detachment plays a huge role in the speed in which we manifest. Because oftentimes, especially if you are new to intentional manifestation, what you really want to do is you want to obsess over the thing. Now, obsession can be beneficial. We'll get into that in another video, but I'm talking about the type of obsession that really is attached to doubt versus the type of obsession that is really connected to, I know this is going to happen and I'm so excited about it. There is a difference. Now, when it comes to intentional manifestation, let's say you are manifesting a move, right? Because if you know, you know, I did that a few years ago when I had hit rock bottom. My mindset was all over the place and I was in a really, really dark, sunken place at that time, right? And so I was going through a lot. I've shared this before. I was in an abusive relationship for the second time. Please don't ask. Do not ask. And mentally, I was spent, right? And I didn't have a lot of money to work with, right? I had stopped creating my content. I had stopped working in my apothecary. I pretty much stopped everything because mentally, I just couldn't do it. And so I knew that I needed to move, right? I needed to get my children and I out of that situation. But I didn't know how I was going to do it because I didn't have a lot of money. And I'm here to tell you that if you are allowing money to stop you from doing anything, whether it's a move, starting a business, buying a car, okay, you're doing it wrong. Money is a tool. Money is energy. But I don't want you to get to a space where you give money so much power that you say, essentially what you're saying is, if I don't get this money, right, then I can't do the thing. And so that was my mindset initially, like, oh my God, it's just gonna take so much money for me to move. I need $1 million to move. No, I didn't say that. But you know, I had it in my head, I needed a whole lot of money, right? And the reality is, once I just made up in my mind that it has to get done or it has to get done, I literally had $500 to work with. And I've told you guys this story before, so I'm not going to get all the way into it. But what I do want to focus on is detachment. Okay? All I had was $500. So I'm going to detach from the idea of needing $10,000 in order to make this move happen. When you detach, you let go of control, and you can feel, like, you might be saying, TEDRA, what does detachment feel like? I can't even describe the feeling, but you'll know once you've really detached from the outcome. Okay, when you detach from the how is this going to happen, when is this going to happen, how much money am I going to manifest, when you detach from that, it speeds up the process. When you let it go, you speed up the process. So I want you to imagine holding a ball in your hands, okay? And the ball represents the thing that you are wanting to manifest. Whether it's a certain dollar amount, it's a new home, it's a new car, right? This is the ball. And I wish I had something to hold. I'll hold my phone, right? This is the thing. And you are holding on to it so much. You're holding on to how is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? Right? You're holding on to all of the things. How do you expect it to come to you, right? If you're trying to control it all. If we are co-conspiring with God, the universe, when you're holding on to the thing like this, when you're holding on to it like this, you're not allowing God, the universe, to do their part. Right? So you have to let it go. You have to really detach from the thing and let go of all control. And it feels, I'm trying my best to describe what detaching feels like. It feels like peace. It feels like there's a relief there. Right? Because once you let go of control, you're like, you know what? You got it. God, you got it. I've done all that I can. I've done my part. I'm just going to let it go. And however it flows to me is how it flows to me. It's like a release. It's a very peaceful feeling. Once you master that feeling, then everything just floods it. It's like you open up, you release, right? You release control, but at the same time, you're making room to receive. You release control, but at the same time, you're opening yourself up to receive the thing. That's what detachment feels like. And it just speeds it up so quick. Once you truly just let it go, it speeds up so quickly. And you also need to pay attention, right? Because certain manifestations, most manifestations are not going to show up exactly 100% of how you thought they would show up. Most of them are not. There's going to be some differences. So you really have to pay attention and just be open for it to come however it comes. Because sometimes it's not the money that you need. Maybe it's an opportunity. So that $10,000 you say that you really needed, it may not come by way of a stack of cash or a check for $10,000. It may come as an opportunity that pays you $10,000, right? It may come as an opportunity that is valued at $10,000. Does that make sense? So I'll tell y'all a little bit about what it looked like when I moved here with $500. When I say here, I mean Nashville, Tennessee, from Houston, Texas. So I had $500, and I only had the $500 because I started selling things. I sold some home decor, pretty much, and I came up with this $500. Now, most people would say, there's no way I can move with $500. How am I going to do that? Not your business. The how is not your business. When you are truly favored and connected to whoever your spiritual guide, your spiritual team, whoever your God is, you don't even have to worry about it. You don't even have to worry about it, because the first thought is going to be, where am I going to live for $500? Most people are going to have that thought, where the fuck am I going to live with only $500? So I actually moved into this apartment that had a 3 months free. My first 3 months, I didn't have to pay for shit. Okay, I just had to get my lights on. That was it. 3 months free. The gas to get here was $68. That was a miracle in and of itself, because I drive an SUV. I filled it up from half in Houston. I drove until it got to half again. I filled it back up, and then we drove the rest of the way here. It was a 14-hour drive. Miracle. Less than $100 for gas. We stopped at, I want to say it was Buc-ee's, and we got, some food and all the things, got some gas, and we got here. I had to pay, I forget how much it was for my lights to be turned on. I think that was $250 if I'm not mistaken. So now I have $100 and something left. Okay. Somehow, some way, I was able to get 3 pots. They were $30. I went to $1.25 Tree. I feel like I've told this story so many times. $1.25 Tree. I got 4 of everything: plates, bowls, forks, spoons, and I got a little set of cheap cooking utensils. And we ate for the low. Okay. We ate for the low until I got my next child support check. And then it was I was able to breathe just a little bit, put some more groceries in. And that's literally how it went. In 30 days, that first month, which was January 2023, that first month, I just focused on healing, right? Because I had been through a lot. My kids had been through a lot. So that first 30 days, we were just focusing on healing, reconnecting to peace again. And then month 2, I was working, and the rest is history. So if I had looked at that very minuscule dollar amount of only $500 and said, there's no way we can live, I can move to a whole different state with $500, you're wrong. If I would have said that and believed that and adopted that idea, I would still be in Houston in that shitty ass situation. God will always make a way. You make the first move, God makes a way. Every freaking time. Every time. I have hit money milestones that I've never hit in my life because I took that leap of faith with $500. Does that make sense? I've made the most money in a year. I had never earned 6 figures in a year until I got here. Ever. But had I kept that mindset of, oh, I only have $500, that's it. There's no way I could drive 14 hours with 3 children in the back with $500. I had the faith, baby. I had the audacity to have the faith, because most people would have been like, nah, I can't do that. That's not enough money. Okay, well, stay where you at then. Stay in the position you're at then. Talk to me in 365 days and tell me how far you've come. We really have to stop putting limits on ourselves, and we have to stop putting limits on the God that we claim to believe in. $500 is a lot of money when you have God on your side. Most people wouldn't have did it. Most people would not have done it. They would not have taken that first step. You take the first step, God will take it the rest of the way. That's just the way that it is. God made a way. 2024, I made 6 figures. All by my lonesome. All by myself. I had never made 6 figures in a year till 2024. $500 worth of faith. $500 worth of faith. A year later, I went from having $500 to making 6 figures in a year. But you say you don't have enough money to do it. Huh? That's why when y'all be DMing me with all of these excuses, I'm just like, cry me a river. Let me break out the violin. Is that what you want? I know it's possible because I've done it. All the things, I've been homeless, had my first child at 15, suicidal. I was in a behavioral center for 11 days. Like, I should have lost my mind a long time ago. But one thing that I had to really learn is that excuses are for losers. And that's the harsh reality. You either want it or you don't. You either choose it or you don't. That's it. That's all. You have to detach. That's how you know. That is how you know. You have to detach and believe 1000% that it is already done. And then you have to take action. I said I was just going to get out one, but that action piece is always going to be there. For those of you who love to say, I feel stuck, take action. How do you get unstuck? You do the opposite of stuck, which is action. You have to move. You have to move. You have to be so connected to God, your team, whoever. I don't care what you believe in, but you have to be so connected to it that when God says move, you move. Most people would have called me crazy. You're about to move to a whole nother state with 3 children? You have no backup plan, baby. The plan B was to make plan A work. That's the only plan I had. That was it. You're going to leave with no money? Because $500 at the end of the day is not a lot of money. Most people would say, that ain't no money. Most people would have been paralyzed in fear. Like, there's no way I can do that. There's no way I can leave this big ass beautiful house where everybody is stable, where shit is getting paid for. There's no way I can leave. There's no, what am I going to do for money? Where am I going to work? Girl, I don't know. You could have asked me January 2023. I still didn't know. I have no idea. All I know is my children and myself, we are safe. We are at peace. Let the chips fall where they may. I had all the faith in the world that it was going to be perfectly fine. And it is. I don't care if it's $200. I don't care if it's $100. If you have God on your side, it's going to be fine. For those of you who are watching this video right now, you're like, oh, but I really want to start my business. Do you? Because you've been talking about that business for the last 3 years, friend. What the problem is? Huh? Because you want to have all the answers. You're not going to have all the answers. Things become clearer. You get the clarity when you move. You're just not going to have all the answers. Okay. I feel like I'm fussing. And this is not how this video is supposed to go. But somebody out there, there's at least one of y'all. Who is it? Put it in the comments. Who am I talking to? There's at least one of y'all who say, I really want to do this, but I'm scared. I really want to do this, but I'm waiting on God to say yes. He already said yes. I hate to call God a he. God has already said yes. You had the idea, didn't you? Where do you think the idea came from? You already have permission. You have the idea, take the idea and run with it. It's not going to make sense right now. It'll make more sense as you start to do the thing. If you want to move. You want to pick up and move to a whole different country? Okay, do it. What is stopping you for real? Because the time is not always going to be right. It's not always going to feel right. It's just not. It's not. The time is not going to be perfect. It's not always going to be perfect, but you got to do it. If you really want to do it, just do it.